exercise equivalent of intuitive eating, which is a very popular movement to ditch diet culture and listen to your body and eat what your body tells you to eat rather than counting calories or following bad diets and things of the sort. So I really love Tally and I wanted to support her work and get her book. So it's a beautiful book. And it describes the ways in which diet culture are harmful for our bodies, using scientific evidence. And she talks about why approaching fitness with a intuitive eating kind of lens on fitness, on intuitive movement, is very healing for our relationships with our bodies and for improving your body image. Yeah, I'm learning a lot from it. I'm only like 30 pages in, so I definitely recommend if you struggle with body image, wanting to escape diet culture, things like that. Definitely check out her podcast. It's really awesome. She hosts a lot of, well, not hosts, but she has on a lot of guests in the body acceptance, body neutrality, intuitive eating nutritionists, just really cool people. She hosts and interviews them. Alright, let's get into it. So, here's the contents. Here is the queen herself, Telluride. I think I will read this part because I think this gives a good overlook of what the book is, obviously, except what it's called. So, what is this book about? If exercise had zero impact on your weight and appearance, would you still work out? If you answered yes, would you work out any differently from how you do now? Would you do more or less? In modern society, exercise has become synonymous with weight loss and aesthetics. In fact, I did a poll on social media to ask you guys whether you had initially started exercising for weight loss and aesthetics, or to feel good. Of the 2,314 people who responded, 81% said they initially started to work out as a way to manipulate their appearance. I wasn't surprised because I too started my exercise journey thinking it was a surefire way of getting the body of my dreams. Growing up, I learned that exercise is a thing people do when they want to lose weight, maintain weight loss, and counterbalance what they eat. My understanding was that it wasn't enjoyable, but it's just what you had to do to get the physique you really wanted. This way of thinking about exercise and fitness urges us to work out to achieve #body goals in a way that often seems arduous, painful, and difficult. So many are put off because it doesn't seem like a fun way to fill time. And so, because fitness has become so intertwined with the pursuit of the leaner, lighter dream body, the multitude of other benefits that an active lifestyle can bring have kind of been forgotten, or somehow less important. But they're not. They're hugely significant in the context of your physical and mental well-being. And so I've written this book to give them the airtime they deserve and to give you another perspective on exercising without the intent or without the thought that I'm doing this because I have poor body image and I want to make my body image better, that they've actually found, yeah, it's down here, that will make you less likely to stick to regular training long term. So like when people have a motivation of weight loss, they're less likely to stick to an exercise plan versus if you are exercising because you just want to care for yourself and give your body what it needs, you're more likely to stick to an exercise plan long term, according to the data. And the data. So, I really liked this section about body neutrality as well. I wish I had heard about this concept when I was growing up, and really did not like my body. Like the fact that you don't need to love your body all the time. It's just a body. It doesn't define you. Like you don't need to freaking worry about it so much. That is so freeing. Oh my lord. Good stuff here. Yeah, this the woman that she interviews for this section, or actually I'm not sure if it's a woman, but the person, Anushka Rees, defines body neutrality as body neutrality is about reducing the enormous significance that's being given to physical attractiveness in our society. Okay, this is the section that I am at, my bookmark. In the pursuit of health and wanting to have the perfect diet to yield perfect results, things have become a bit messy and complicated along the way. We have become so focused on what to eat that we don't reflect on how we feel about what we are eating. Diet culture has had a strong external influence over what we deem to be the right or wrong things to be consuming. Therefore, I want to use this section, with the help of the dietitian, to instead get you thinking about your relationship with food and how it makes you feel. Relationships with food. My relationship with food was a significant part of my overall fitness journey, and perhaps it is for you too. All the various rules I imposed on myself led to a big level of distrust between my mind, body, and food. I endeavored to have the perfect diet that can be the perfect body, but it led me to exhibit controlling and disordered behaviors that are becoming all too common. Some of these showed up as logging everything I ate into an app and feeling anxious if I didn't, only feeling comfortable eating the foods I classified as good and clean, having to know the calorie and macronutrient content of any foods before I ate them, struggling to eat outside of my routine or be spontaneous, looking up restaurant menus in advance to make sure there was something I could eat before going, working out to counterbalance the guilt if I ate food I deemed as unhealthy, using a fitness tracker to tell me how many calories I could eat in a day, no more than I had burned, never having dressing on a salad for fear of extra calories and always having sauces on the side, never drinking my calories and always ordering water, having to present my food to look perfect and Instagrammable for every meal or snack. As you can imagine, this put strain not only my relationship with food, but on those around me too. It was hard to eat out, to be cooked for, and to attend events if I didn't feel in control of the menu. Diet culture had told me that if you enjoy food, you have to burn it off. I used exercise to justify renegade eating, and it was a balancing act. Therefore, if there was an imbalance, it could send me to a negative place of guilt and shame. What's more, the more I learned about food, mainly from questionable sources online, the more I became confused and overwhelmed as to what the right way to eat was. Was it low carb? Was it high fat? Was it macros? Should I be intermittent fasting or going keto? This was my story, but we all have our own relationship with food derived from our own experiences. Our narratives are influenced by a wide range of factors from relationship and life experiences. I'd like to take this opportunity to reflect upon your own journey so far. What are the beliefs you already have about food, and where have they come from? What is a normal relationship with food? We've discussed how diet culture has caused our relationships with food to become skewed over the years, so now I want to expand on what a positive and normal relationships with food might look like. We praise people for eating healthy, thinking that it is what we should all be aiming for, but so often we understand eating healthy to mean restricting food in some way. So what does a normal relationship with food look like? In her 1983 book, Secrets of Feeding a Healthy Family, dietitian and psychotherapist Ellen Satter described it in the following way, which I believe still rings true today. Normal eating is eating competence. It is going to the table, hungry, and eating until you are satisfied. It is being able to choose food you enjoy and eat it and truly get enough of it, not just stop eating because you think you should. Normal eating is being able to give some thought to your food selection so you get nutritious food, but not being so wary and restrictive that you miss out on enjoyable food. Normal eating is give yourself permission to eat, sometimes because you are happy, sad, or bored, or just because it feels good. Normal eating is mostly 3 meals a day, or 4, or 5, or it can be choosing to munch along the way. It is leaving some cookies on the plate because you know you can have some again tomorrow, or it is eating more now because they taste so wonderful. Normal eating is overeating at times, feeling stuffed and uncomfortable, and it can be undereating at times and wishing you had more. Normal eating is trusting your body to make up for your mistakes in eating. Normal eating takes up some of your time and attention, but keeps its place as only one important area of your life. In short, normal eating is flexible and varies in response to your hunger, your schedule, your proximity to food, and your feelings. that has given me unconditional permission to eat food regardless of exercise, and it taught me how to honor my health and well-being without having a strained relationship with food. The concept has 10 key principles which help to guide a process of building back trust with your body, ultimately giving the power back to you to decide what's best for it. The 10 key principles of intuitive eating. Reject the diet mentality. Honor your hunger. Make peace with food. Challenge the food police. Feel your fullness. Discover the satisfaction factor. Cope with your emotions. Respect your body. Exercise in joyful movement. In gentle nutrition. As Evelyn Tribble, co-author of the book Intuitive Eating, says, intuitive eating is a personal process of honoring health by listening and responding to the direct messages of the body in order to meet physical and psychological needs. Each person's path will be different, but ultimately it empowers you to take back charge of your own body. I asked registered dietitian and certified personal trainer Jessie Haggerty to more formally introduce us to the concept of intuitive eating and break down the key principles. The concept of intuitive eating was developed in the 1990s by two dietitians, Evelyn Tribble and Elise Reich, and was designed as an antidote to the rise of fad diets during that time, aka the rise of the low-fat versus low-carb debate. Tribble and Reich wrote the book titled Intuitive Eating, now in its third edition, and outlined 10 principles to help the readers get off the diet roller coaster and have a more peaceful relationship with food. The book's subtitle is A Revolutionary Program That Works. However, intuitive eating is not really a program at all. In fact, the mainstream refers to it as an anti-diet and refers to the book's 10 principles as guiding lights rather than rigid rules to be followed. Clinicians like myself have used these principles as a foundation and often further customize the practice to meet the needs of the specific population or individuals they serve. While there is no one right way to be an intuitive eater, Tribble and Rach have made one thing very clear. Intuitive eating was and is not designed to be a weight loss program. There have been over 90 studies performed to measure the positive outcomes of adopting an intuitive eating practice. It has been hypothesized that one potential outcome is that your body will find its set point range, the weight range your body wants to maintain for optional function. But the bottom line is that this practice really has nothing to do with weight. The goal is to help you have a more peaceful, nuanced relationship with food. I don't think we can talk about intuitive eating without first talking about diet culture. The first principle of intuitive eating is reject the diet mentality. Here's the thing about the diet mentality. You don't have to be on a diet to be trapped in the diet mentality, and that's because we live in a diet culture. We live in a culture that tells us we need to ignore and suppress our hunger, aka our biological need for food and survival, and pursue thinness and body perfection at all costs. Our inner food police follow us around to criticize us for breaking the rules and making sure that every indulgence is followed up by a punishment in the form of guilt, shame, or suggested compensatory behavior like overexercising or skipping meals. This leaves us on the never-ending roller coaster of following the rules, breaking the rules, feeling guilty, paying penance, and starting fresh. And every time we go around another loop, we blame ourselves for not being able to stick with it and lose sight of the fact that we can actually choose to get off the ride. But the problem is not that we lack willpower or self-control. The problem is that following the laws of diet culture often means ignoring the laws of physiology. Your body is not interested in diet culture. Your body wants to survive and thrive, and it can't do that if you don't feed it. A simple but not easy place to start is with the third principle of intuitive eating. Honor your hunger. This can be really difficult when diet culture has taught us to question our hunger by suggesting that perhaps we are just bored or thirsty, and that if you are feeling hungry, the chances that you are, in fact, actually hungry are quite slim. Rejecting this notion and trusting your hunger might be challenging, but every time you trust your hunger signals and respond by feeding your body adequate amounts of satisfying food, you let your body know you are on the same team. is satisfied. 8 is full. 9 is very full. 10 is painfully full. It's hard to talk about hunger without talking about fullness. The tricky thing about the fifth principle of intuitive eating, feel your fullness, is that worrying about getting too full is a slippery slope back into the diet mentality. And if you're not careful, it can pretty quickly make you shift gears into a restrictive mindset. My favorite way to help clients with this principle is to teach it in conjunction with the sixth principle of intuitive eating. Discover the satisfaction factor. We can work these principles simultaneously to honor our body's physiological need for adequate calories, protein, carbohydrates, fat, and fiber, while also honoring our desire to receive pleasure and satisfaction from food. The best way I can describe it is the feeling after you finish a meal when your stomach is full and you don't want any more of the meal in front of you, but you're on the hunt for something. Maybe it's something sweet or something crunchy. Some might call this a craving. This is not a malfunction on your part. Seeking pleasure from food does not mean that you are addicted or out of control. Food is supposed to be pleasurable, so enjoy it. I know that enjoying food might be easier said than done. This is where the third principle of intuitive eating comes in handy. Make peace with food. Throughout this process, it's going to be really tempting to try to put the brakes on your intuition. You'll be craving some chocolate, and the whole time you're eating it, the diet mentality will be whispering, "Are you sure you want to keep eating that?" It's pretty sneaky like that. But making peace with food is about giving yourself unconditional permission to eat. This means that you can eat what you want without conditions. So when that diet mentality pops up, just gently remind it that it's not needed right now because you have permission to eat what you want, when you want, and how much you want. Like I mentioned above, intuitive eating is not a weight loss program. It's not a weight anything program. It truly has nothing to do with your weight. The eighth principle of intuitive eating is to respect your body. This means embracing the body you were born with in all of its iterations. Our bodies change from the day we are born to the day we die, and it's a waste of precious time and energy to fight that. You can respect your body by practicing intuitive eating, and you can also find your own unique ways to respect your body. Dress in clothes that feel comfortable and represent your unique style. Move in ways that feel good for your unique ability level. Make time to rest and use your body as a vehicle to experience your life. Now, to answer the question everyone asks when it comes to this concept, but what about health? What about nutrition? Does that just go out the window? When you first start an intuitive eating practice, it might be necessary for you to put your definition of health or nutrition on the back burner while you do some of the deeper exploratory work. This might take a few weeks, months, or years. It's truly different for everyone. The key to tackling the 10th principle of intuitive eating, gentle nutrition, is to eat in a way that supports your needs and not turn this principle, or any principle, into another set of rigid rules. Ways to practice gentle nutrition. Switch from a mindset of restriction to a mindset of adequacy. Diet culture tells us that we need to live our lives on as little food as possible, but the reality is food is energy. We need to make sure that we are fueling our bodies with the energy they need to survive and thrive. No more skipping meals, eliminating food groups from our diets, or over-exercising to compensate for eating. Eat every 3 to 4 hours. Your body's quick energy stores deplete every 3 to 5 hours, so eating at regular intervals ensures that you'll have enough energy to go about your day and prevent extreme hunger. Try to have a balance of carbohydrate, protein, and fat at these intervals if possible. Eat a variety of foods. Once you get far enough along in the intuitive eating process, you'll realize that you no longer have to intentionally moderate your intake. Your body will do the checks and balances for you. You can ensure nutrient balance by giving yourself access to a wide variety of foods. This includes fruits and vegetables, but also includes fun foods like chips, cookies, and ice cream. With this information, it's important to stress that developing an intuitive eating practice is a slow-going process, especially if you have a history of dieting or disordered eating. If you're finding this information overwhelming, visit www.intuitiveeating.org and find a certified intuitive eating counselor to work with to help you guide through this process. towards a positive outcome. Intuitive Easy is a unique approach to nutrition because it focuses on us fostering a positive relationship with